So let's get you up to speed with this big visit that's coming in. Joining us for a perspective is my colleague, our managing editor, Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, good morning. Now, many would say he's visited 6 times. What's the big deal? Now, do tell us how this state visit will be so crucial about the recognition of India.
You're absolutely right, Pooja. Good morning. This is a very crucial visit. He's visited the United States as Prime Minister 6 times in the past, and each time, some building blocks have been added to give a very strong foundation to a relationship that actually underwent a transformation post 1999 through many governments, both in India and in the United States of America. But this is where this relationship is being taken altogether to a new level. Fighter jet engines, for example, no country transfers that technology or parts of that technology to any other country. It's a very closely guarded secret. It's almost like the family jewels. Nobody shares them. In this case, the Americans are. And why? Because there is a realization in America that for the new emerging world order, the two most powerful democracies of the world have to operate together, have to operate in tandem. Why? There is an expansionist China. That China has been given grief. China has been giving grief to the rest of the world, whether it's through its wolf warrior diplomacy or through the Belt and Road Initiative, the debt trap diplomacy, and the world is suffering. So what does the world need? Resilient supply chains. What does the world need? Rules-based order. And India has displayed that we are in favor of a multipolar world. We are in favor of rules-based order. We follow international laws. China doesn't. Now, for the world economy to move forward, you also need stable sea lanes of communication and international channels operating freely. All of that happens when America and India operate together. They checkmate China and they benefit the entire democratic world. How does that translate into action on ground and not just words? When you strengthen each other. So the two economies get more integrated, and that is the key result area for both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden. Jet engine technology transfer to keep the seas safer from an expansionist China. The Sea Guardian drones, because these are very, very powerful unmanned combat aerial vehicles, not just for ISR, which is intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, but also to take out the adversary like the Americans have in the past, whether it's in Afghanistan or in Iraq or in Syria. So they fire the Hellfire missiles. They have their JDAMs, the direct action munition. They have their huge bombs. So these very powerful weapon systems and platforms that America does not share with except with the closest of closest allies, that technology, those weapons, those systems, those platforms are being shared with India, Pooja. So there is an effort to take this relationship altogether to a new high.
Also interesting, Gaurav, how it's just not about business and trade and defense. Yoga is in many ways being used as a soft power as well. Now, I assume that there could be a yoga event, but it's at the UN headquarters, and that's adding to the significance.
It indeed is. So you recall when Prime Minister Narendra Modi took over in 2014, if I remember correctly, 177 nations came together to support India's proposal to have the 21st of June declared as the International Yoga Day. Yoga is India's cultural heritage and India's gift to the entire world, because yoga is not just a physical exercise, it's not just a mental exercise, it's spiritual upliftment of humankind. And whether it's the chant of Om or all the breathing exercises that you carry forward, they give you a peace of mind. And post 2014, every year, the United Nations observes and celebrates International Yoga Day. Incidentally, there are committees in the UN, the Yoga Committee, the Yoga Day Committee, the Yoga Week Community, and they all come together and practice yoga together. On the 21st of June, the Prime Minister will actually participate, and Ruchira Kamboj, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, was telling our news director Rahul Kawal that you have perhaps more than 1,000 people in thousands Diplomats will be participating in the International Yoga Day with the Prime Minister there at the UN headquarters. So that's a big message about India's spiritual power, cultural power, heritage power going global.
Thank you so much, Gaurav Sawant. He'll be getting us all the latest coming in about the visit of Prime Minister Modi to United States of America.